Welcome to training video number 2. I'm Pamela Moss, the Vision Powered Life Mentor. I help people who want to make a difference see their big vision and grow their dreams into reality. So in the first training video, we talked about vision-powered goals and the importance of taking action. When you create a vision-powered goal, you see new opportunities to take action, new openings. But often people don't take them. Instead, they procrastinate, they find ways to avoid doing anything, they distract themselves, they get overwhelmed or anxious and lose their focus, and nothing happens. Why? They want this thing so much, but they're not doing anything to make it happen. Well, the reason why is because subconsciously there are fears and doubts, and they have a secret sense of unworthiness that rise up to stop them from taking any action, and before they even know what happened. They don't even know what hit them. They're stopped before they even start. That's why the second critical key to grow your dreams to reality is to uproot the fears, the doubts, the self-criticism that will stop you cold if you don't uproot them. So that's really important, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Today I'm going to train you how to identify your subconscious resistance and roadblocks, your fears, doubts, the patterns that will keep you from taking action. And I'm going to also show you the 4 R's to remove roadblocks and resistance so you can be free to take action and really make progress and fulfill your goals. To identify subconscious beliefs that are holding you back, your roadblocks and your resistance, you have to have a way to communicate with your subconscious. And I'm going to show you a way to do that. The simplest and most effective way that I know to communicate with your subconscious is called muscle testing. It's also called kinesthesiology or muscle checking. And there are many ways to do it, but I'm going to show you the method that I have found is most effective with most people. I want to first tell you why it works. So muscle testing is a way to communicate with your subconscious mind that depends on the fact that your subconscious mind sends electrical signals to make action happen. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. When you want to take a drink of water, for example, I pick up a cup and I say, I'm going to drink from this cup. Consciously, I just do it without even knowing what's happening. But subconsciously, what's going on is my mind, my subconscious mind, is sending electrical impulses to make my muscles move. And they happen so quickly, I'm not consciously aware of it at all. But if I consciously had to do it, I'd have to think, okay, elbow contract, head tip forward, lips start to open, wrist start to tilt. It would take a long time to drink anything. So it's a good thing our subconscious mind operates so quickly to send electrical impulses and make our muscles work. So what this means is that when the electrical signals are strong, the muscles contract strongly. And when they're weak, the muscles don't contract as much, they don't move as much. Here's where it gets interesting. The strength of the signal, the electrical signal that moves the muscles, is dramatically affected by your thoughts. So if you have stressful thoughts that you're holding in your mind, you tend to have a weaker signal, a weaker electrical signal, and the muscles don't move as much. And if you have a thought in your conscious mind that it conflicts with a thought in your subconscious mind, that also creates stress in your system and you have a weaker signal. So that means you can use muscle testing to identify when your conscious mind, your subconscious mind don't agree. When you have a belief in your conscious mind, your subconscious mind is saying, not going to happen. For example, you're saying, I know I'm going to succeed. I can succeed at this. I know it. And your subconscious mind is saying, yeah, I don't think so. If you have that going on, you're not going to take action. So it's really important to identify where you have subconscious resistance or roadblocks to what you consciously want to do. So now I'm going to show you how you can figure that out. How to do muscle testing on yourself. To do muscle testing, you want to be open and curious. The same way a scientist would be doing an experiment. We're going to do an experiment. We're going to find out if you can get clear signals with muscle testing for yourself. So you just want to be open and curious. I wonder what's going to happen. So the method that we're going to do is we're going to have our fingers, you're going to have one hand like this, and the other hand's going to also be pinching like this, but it's going to go inside of the first one. So your hands look like this, okay? And what you're going to do is you're just going to pull your hands against each other, not rigidly and stiffly or loose and floppy, just somewhere in the middle, and just going to see what happens. Feel what happens when they are solid against each other. Feel what it's like when they go loosely through, to see if you can find the range of what your hands do when they pull against each other. You might just feel slight differences. You can pull and see like, ooh, I feel it moving a bit, or it's really solid. Just notice the different things that can happen when you pull your hands against each other like that. Okay, so now that you've kind of gotten a sense of what the motion is going to be like, we're going to make some statements, and we're going to do that motion afterwards, that muscle testing motion, and see what result we get. And we're going to then find out if we get clear and consistent results with that. First statement we're going to try is, I want you to say and think to yourself, show me a yes, and think yes, 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 while you then do the muscle testing. So it looks like this. I'm going to put my hands, this hand like this hand inside of it, pinched together like that, and my shoulders are relaxed. I've got room for my elbows to move, and I'm just going to take a breath in and out, and then I'm going to say to myself, show me a yes, 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 yes. And see what I get. Just do this for yourself. See what you get when you say, show me a yes. Good. Now just relax for a moment. And now we're going to try a different statement and see if we get a different result. So the different statement is, show me a no. And just think to yourself first, no, no, no. Show me a no, and then do the muscle testing. So show me a no. No, no, no. No, no, no. And just see what result you get. It may or may not look like mine. It doesn't matter. Everybody's different. Just notice what you get. The next statement I want you to try is, I want you to think about something that is true of you. Absolutely true. You know it for a fact. For example, I'm going to test, I am a woman. I am sure about that. So I'm going to test that. So I'm going to put my fingers together in that position, and I'm going to say out loud, I am a woman, and then I'm going to muscle test and see what result I get. I am a woman. Okay, that's the result I get. So test for yourself with your statement that you know is true for you. See what you get. And then just take a breath and relax for a moment. And now we're going to test a statement that you know is false. You just know it. So I'm going to test the statement, I am an eggplant. So I'm going to test that. It can be ridiculous, that's fine, just as long as you know it's false. I am an eggplant. And I'm just noticing what happens. Did I get... And what I want noticing here, what I want to see is, I want to see if when I tested the first time, show me a yes, and then when I tested something that I know is true, I want to see if those responses were similar or not. That's what we want to look for. And we also want to see if it's similar or not between show me a no and the statement that's totally false. We're just looking to see. Then the third thing we're going to try is, we're going to test a statement about what you love to do. So I want you to think of something you really just love to do. It's so much fun for you. It's so fulfilling. It's just a pleasure to do it. So I'm going to test the statement, I love to garden. So I'm just going to imagine myself gardening, and I'm going to say I love to garden and test it. I love to garden. And that's the response I get. You just test your statement. Think of whatever you love to do and just test it and see what you get. It really doesn't matter. We're just looking for what kind of signals you get in an open, curious way. Okay, now we're going to do our final test, and then we're going to look at our results and see what we got in our little experiment here. So the final thing you're going to test is, I'd like you to think about something that you really don't like to do. In fact, it's a real pain in the butt to do it, and you really find the whole idea like, oh God, I don't want to do that. So just think of something that falls in that category for you. So for me, something that falls in that category is to clean our family's rabbit's cage. So I'm going to think about cleaning her cage. I love the rabbit, I don't love cleaning her cage. Cleaning the rabbit's cage. And I just look at that, and what I'm going to say, actually, to make it even clearer, is I'm going to say, I love to clean the rabbit's cage, and I'm going to see if that's true. And the result I get is, no, it's not. So you want to make sure here you can actually move your arms. If you're sitting in a chair that has arm rests right next to you and your arms are cramped, it's a lot harder to do this. So move yourself in such a way you can use your elbows, you have freedom of movement. And what you're doing is you're looking for subtle differences. Some people get a very big difference in responses between the yes and the no, or the strong and the weak. Some people it's much more subtle. It might be like, it's like this for one, and it's like, ooh, just like beginning to pull through for the other. Just be attentive and notice if you see a difference. That's all you need is a difference. Now we're going to go back and look at the results that you got. So what you want to be interested in is, did you get similar results for the thing that was true for you, and the yes, and the thing that you love? If you did, that's really great, because now you have a way to communicate with your subconscious. And you also want to look and see, did you get a similar result for the thing that you really don't like to do, and the show me a no, and the thing that is not true for you. If you did for these things, if you can get clear, consistent results, you have a way to talk to your subconscious. And if you weren't successful at doing this, don't worry about it. There's some things you can do to make you more successful. One of them is to drink water, because water helps electrical impulses travel. So and we mostly go around dehydrated. If you've been drinking coffee before you did this, you're probably particularly dehydrated. So you can go and drink some water first and then try it again and see if you can get clear signals. So I've just showed you a way to identify your subconscious beliefs, the roadblocks that are stopping you, because you can use muscle testing, this technique you've just learned, to ask yourself and find out if you have resistance to something you want to believe is true, such as, I can succeed. You can muscle test it and see, I will succeed with my vision-powered goal. And if you get a result that is your weak signal, whatever that is, it might be different than mine, then you know you have subconscious resistance to that. And if you don't do something about it, you are not going to be able to fulfill your goal. It'll be really, really hard. So that's really useful to know whether you have resistance or not and what it is. You can even identify the exact beliefs if you take the time to try different beliefs that it might be that are stopping you. So once you identify it, what then? Well, I want to tell you there are ways to remove these roadblocks and resistance that you have subconsciously. There are 4 R's to remove your roadblocks and resistance so that you can take action and fulfill what matters to you. So the first R is resolute action. And this means you take action even though you're scared and you don't think it's going to work and you're just in terror even. You do it anyway. For example, when I first started doing public speaking, I really wanted to be able to give talks, and I prepared as well as I could, but I was terrified. And the first time I did it, I stood up and my heart was pounding so fast and so loud, I couldn't even hear what I was saying, and I'm sure my face was red. But I did it anyway, even though I was terrified. And because I did that, I resolutely took action, even though I was really scared, it was easier the next time, because I knew I'd survived. And every time I did it, it got easier because of that. Like I knew I could do it because I had done it. And that is the power of resolute action to move you through your subconscious resistance and your roadblocks. And it's the hardest way to do it, but it is effective. The second R to remove your resistance and roadblocks is what I call releasing. And releasing, there's many different ways people do releasing. Releasing can happen if you've ever been in a 12-step program. Part of the 12-step process, as I understand it, is to let go and let God. You just surrender that you have control over this pattern or behavior you've been doing. You realize that you can't stop it on your own. And you ask for your higher power to come and help you, because you know you can't do it yourself. So you release your trying to control and change it because you're not enough in yourself to do it. Another way to release your fears and roadblocks is to work with a technique called EFT, or Emotional Freedom Technique. It's also called tapping. That involves a physical process as well as things you say to release and soften your beliefs. And there's a way that I practice this myself. I've noticed for years that when my husband and I would have an argument, I would always feel like he was criticizing me and attacking me. And so I would resist him, I would fight back and I would push back, or I would become passive-aggressive, because that's how I do things when I feel attacked. And what I would practice was what I would call letting love win, which is a way of releasing. I would surrender. I would realize, like, I don't know how to stop fighting back and resisting and having this whole downward spiral, which I really don't like in our relationship. So when I'm going to let love win meant that I would drop whatever I was trying to defend myself against, and instead look and see, what's he really concerned about? How does this look to him? Like, just forget about myself and focus on what he is dealing with. And whenever I would do that, things would shift. And I would realize he's actually not trying to tell me I'm a terrible person. He's worried about something, or he's got some kind of concern. And we could have a totally different conversation that was much more productive. That's the power of releasing. The third R to remove unconscious resistance and roadblocks is what I call reframing. And reframing is when you get a whole new interpretation, a whole new way to view a situation or result that you are stressed about or unable to take action on. So I'll give you an example. I work with a client who had to make sales calls as part of her business, as part of her work. And she hated to make sales calls because deep down she felt that nobody wanted to hear from her, that she was being a bother and a pest, and she didn't want to be a bother and a pest, so she wouldn't make the calls. And she knew she needed to, or she was actually going to lose her job. So we reframed that situation for her. And it has to be something authentic that you really feel is true and it really lights you up, in fact. Otherwise you won't be able to reframe it. So what she discovered is that she thought, I really love to connect with women. I'm calling these women. I love to connect with them. It's so much fun. And I'm really excited about the opportunity that this call represents. I'm doing this because I'm excited about it. That's why I signed up for this company. And for the right people, it's an incredible opportunity, and they're going to be so glad to hear from me. So when I make these calls, I'm just going to remember, I love to connect with women, and I have an opportunity for some of them which is going to be like, thank you, I'm so grateful. Made a huge difference. She was able to make calls easily after that. She could make many in a day, and she dramatically increased her results because she could take action. So that's the power of reframing. The final R, to remove your resistance and roadblocks, is what I call replacing them. And that involves working directly with your subconscious mind. You can use the same technique we explored today, muscle testing, to communicate with your subconscious and find out exactly not only what beliefs you have that are stopping you, you can find out what beliefs you need to install in your subconscious mind to replace them. To make it so that, just like editing a word processing document, you can take a sentence and delete it and type something else in instead. You can actually reprogram your own biocomputer of your subconscious mind the same way. So that's what replacing is all about. The reframing and replacing are very effective methods, and they're pretty involved processes. They're things that you have to sort of dive into your individual situation and who you are to figure out what you need to reframe the situation or to replace the beliefs. And that makes them challenging to do on your own, so you might want some guidance or help from somebody else to do them. And I just want you to know there are powerful ways you can remove the beliefs that are stopping you. So the most important thing I want you to take away from all of this is that the reason you don't take action on things that matter to you is because you have subconscious resistance and roadblocks. There are things you are not aware of that are stopping you cold, and it's not your fault. It's just there's resistance. It's like trying to drive with the brake on. It doesn't work because part of you is saying go, 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 and part of you is saying no, no, no. And you don't go anywhere. You don't take action. So I want you to know it's because of your subconscious thoughts, beliefs, resistance, patterns that you're not taking action. And there's something you can do about it. In fact, there's a lot of things you can do about it. So I want you to know you can do something about it. Thank you so much for listening. If you have questions or comments, please write them below and I will respond to everything everybody says. Hope you've enjoyed this and gotten something from it, and I look forward to sharing training video number 3 with you in just a few days.